Okay, let's walk. Alrighty, Alicia and Rini, out for a walk. Waka waka, you can do it. There we go. I'm Alicia, founder of Positive Impact Event Consulting, and this is Rini. She's a Schnauzer, Terrier, Muppet mix. She really does look like the quintessential ragamuffin. This is Sustainable Events Dog Walk, a short podcast from Positive Impact Event Consulting, where you can get a quick nugget about sustainability for your events and event business while on a walk with Alicia and her dog Rini. Sustainability is a big project, but we'll get there together, one little step at a time. Hello, here we are again. I would like to talk about today a topic blend. We're going to talk about using psychology and behavioral economics to influence the sustainability results from your event. So this is something that is next level. Oh, wow. Loud seagull. So we're going next level today. We're thinking outside the box. When you are making choices for your event, you can be as conscientious as you like. You can be as analytical as possible. Take your time, understand your why. But there are some things that are just decided by your attendee. So let's take a dip into behavioral economics and psychology to talk about, wow, it's Seagull Central here, to talk about their choice structure and getting the outcomes that you're hoping for. So in this example, I'm going to focus on meals and catering. So in my imagination, this is always an argument going on surrounding fundraisers and nonprofit events, that you want to give a luxurious experience. You want your guests to have a great time. And so inevitably, we end up with sort of a beef or fish type of scenario. So rather than focusing on your menu, which I have a lot of ideas about, I want to focus on your choice structure. So the information that I'm drawing on here comes from some pretty famous behavioral economists. I mean, the people who invented behavioral economics. So you may have heard of the book Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman, and his research partner's name is Amos Tversky. I have learned all of this stuff through many, many episodes of Freakonomics podcast, Choiceology with Katie Milkman, another behavioral economist that's hosted by Charles Schwab. Lots of smart people talking about this topic. And the idea is that the way you lay out your options for people will either psychologically or passively sway them. So if you have a really great vegetarian option coming from your caterer, because you've worked with them to make sure that everyone with social, dietary, and religious needs will be covered with an appropriate and nutritious vegetarian or vegan option, one of the best things you can do on your registration form is have a preset and basically set it so that people who do not otherwise make a conscious choice will get the meal that you want for them. So I think this is under the category of what they call nudges. This is something that you see a lot in like healthcare and government. But basically, bless you dog, basically the preset option is what people are persuaded toward selecting. Either that or they're not paying attention. And as long as you're providing them a good enough meal, then you shouldn't have tons of complaints. And honestly, this is also going to end up, you're going to have to decide how much of a social experiment this is to get people on board that this is the style. And it might be something you want to talk with your nonprofit about, of like, is this the stance we're going to take? Is we have a no changes policy and we love to make you happy, but this is what you chose. And our stance is the vegetarian option is the better one, and that's what you're getting. But regardless of that, because I know I'm immediately having those same thoughts that you're having of like, oh my gosh, the people who didn't make a choice are going to be PO'd and they're going to come and ask for a beef ticket anyway. And you're going to have a policy in place for that. But the idea is a combination of making sure the meal is actually worthwhile, because no one wants to be served steamed garlic green beans and told that that's nutritionally balanced. But by pre-selecting the option that you want everyone to choose as the default in case they don't change the selection, and ranking the options from there, how you would like people to distribute, you are creating an environment that allows for the consideration that you want at the forefront. And so you can do this from another angle and say, hey, we're bringing in this special company that's a local
nonprofit butchery and it gives employment to people who need it, and we want to feature them, you can have that be the pre-select with the extra information about how good it is. So the purpose of this is not to say we're exclusively advocating for vegan options. It's to say you can create this influence, and I'm gonna have to do a whole episode about it, but I have strong opinions about how, as event professionals and planners especially, we are leaders. The things that we're doing are invisible, but we are passively in advance leading the audience to have certain experiences. And this is one of those times when you need to take the reins on that and say, okay, we're going to have these particular options. How do we emphasize the ones that we want people to select and de-emphasize the ones that we don't need them to select? It's less valuable to us for them to have that experience. So this is a tool that you can take with you into lots of areas. This is why you might notice on different websites that the, software packages are either ranked from the highest features, most expensive down, or from the most accessible, inexpensive up. This is why you see things displayed in different formats of linear or pyramid or the checkbox graphs. It's all about the psychology of your offerings and what you want your audience's first step to be. So in this case, registering for your special event, looking at their tickets, if you want everyone's first thought to be, oh, option number 1 is this vegan eggplant parmesan, okay, that's the first thing they're going to read. You've got it pre-selected and it's at the top. Now, the likelihood is I've done this out of order because the priority of providing dishes that are desirable and excellent is, so much higher on the list. But wanted to throw out there that when we're looking at sustainability, be it environmental or social or economic, we really want to use all the tools available to us. So there you go. A little trick on behavioral economics. If you're like, oh yeah, this actually is so obvious now in retrospect, and I hadn't thought of it, and I wish that I realized more of these things that were going on, I do highly recommend both Choiceology and Freakonomics. They're different length episodes. Choiceology ranges under 30 minutes and Freakonomics more like 45 to an hour. So you can choose based on what is of more interest to you. Freakonomics is up in the multiple hundreds of episodes, so you can go back to some of the more oldie-timey stuff to get more basic on the structures of these things. But I love them, and I find them really helpful and useful from a business context to think about consumer behavior and things like that. If you want to talk about any of those things, I would love to. Feel free to hit me up on my email or on LinkedIn. And if you've got questions that you'd like me to answer on the podcast, please submit them to my Google Forms or the email that you find in the podcast notes. Hey dog, do you have a leaf stuck on your foot? Let me get that. All right. Thanks for listening. Catch you on the flip side.
Thanks for joining me on Sustainable Events Dog Walk. I'm Alicia Drewby, founder of Positive Impact Event Consulting, and I want to help you integrate sustainability into your event business so you're ready to make every event you work on more sustainable. See you next time.